We're here getting out with the kids
in the Peak District. We're staying at Hartington Hall Youth Hostel in the Peak District.
It's not like the youth hostels I stayed in when I was a kid.
We've got a family room with a bathroom and it's all geared up for families and kids.
So we're off exploring the Derbyshire Dales and the Peak District. Hartington Hall Youth Hostel is a fantastic base for families wanting to explore the Derbyshire Dales and the Peak District. Not only do you get to stay in these historic old buildings, but there's also other facilities such as laundry, self-catering, as well as family accommodation with en-suite. If you don't fancy cooking though, there's also a restaurant, which we found really handy. One of the great things about many youth hostels is there's lots of space for the children to play, and Hartington Hall was no exception, with a playground and even some animals. Youth Hostel is set in the old village of Hartington, which is just a very short stroll down the hill. With a good meal inside us, we head off to explore a bit more of the Peak District. Not far from Hartington is a place called Island. This has a National Trust car park, which is free if you're members of course, and it also has a youth hostel here too. Most people head off on foot from Island to go and explore the River Dove and cross the famous stepping stones. So we set off across muddy fields and even get a chance to see a sheepdog in action. If you don't fancy walking to the River Dove, you can park there and then take a stroll by the river down a pushchair friendly path, or cross over the other side like we did and take a more challenging route. Whichever path you take, you eventually get to the famous stepping stones that cross the river. There can be a bit of a queue here when it gets busy, but we like crossing them so much, we did it twice. If you have a dog of course though, they just can't resist jumping in. If you carry on walking further on down the River Dove past the stepping stones, you'll get to a place known as Reynolds Cave. This has an impressive archway that leads up into the cave. A few years ago they found what is known as the Dovedale Hall. This is a collection of Roman and Iron Age coins being buried in the base of the cave. All along the River Dove you can find plenty of tranquil spots to sit and enjoy a picnic. After enjoying a picnic in some glorious spring sunshine, we doubled back on ourselves to climb the hill known as Thorpe Cloud. This was the flat-topped hill that we could see in the distance from Island. It was quite a climb to the top, but when we were at the top we found it was anything but flat. It was fairly windy though. After spending the day along the River Dove, we returned to Hartington Hall Youth Hostel for a good meal and some much needed rest. The next day the sunny spring weather had left us, so we decided to escape the rain and head underground. We headed to a place called Poole's Cavern in Buxton. This goes deep underground, where you can find a whole range of stalagmites, stalactites and lots of other rock formations. It's really impressive how far the cave goes, and it's all just right under Buxton. Not bad for just one weekend. So now it's your turn. Find an area you've not been to before, book a youth hostel or campsite, and go get out with the kids.